Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Cinema Nerd, and today we have kind of an exciting announcement. We reached 11 subscribers. Thank you so much, and today we'll be doing a video about the Royal Tenenbaums. I hope you enjoy. So the Royal Tenenbaums is about a dysfunctional family, parental neglect, arrested development, and also just like the struggles of growing up and finding your place in the world as an adult. And it's a very great, very well-made movie. So today we're going to talk about why it resonates with so many people, its hidden meaning, and why it is one of my favorite movies of all time. So before we get into the plot, I'd like to go over the characters and their dynamics with each other, so that a way it's kind of more easier to understand the story. Let's start off with Royal. Royal Tenenbaum is a selfish, lazy, negligent, and just self-absorbed father, and I wouldn't really call him that much of a dad to his kids because he neglected almost all of his children. He never really was there for Margot and would always point out that she was adopted, so she's not his quote-unquote real kid. He never was there for Chaz and just assumed that Ethline Tenenbaum, their mother, would take care of him. However, the one kid that he was was Richie, and even there's some distance in that relationship. He kind of gets mad at Richie and holds a bit of a grudge against him for not winning in a tennis match because he bet a lot of money on him. Overall, he's kind of a self-sabotaging character, and a toxic one at that. However, towards the end of the movie, you kind of root for him as he learns to finally grow up. Since we talked a lot about Royal, I'm going to try to do a lightning round with our other characters, starting with Margot Tenenbaum. Margot is sophisticated and very quiet. She kind of keeps things to herself, although she tends to isolate from others when she feels she's getting too close. She also suffers from depression and can be impulsive at sometimes. However, she is a good character that does care about the people around her and would do anything to make sure that they are okay. The next character we will be discussing is Richie Tenenbaum. Richie Tenenbaum is a really sweet character with a heart of gold. He cares about his siblings and his parents, and he has a really good relationship with Royal. However, he struggles with depression, which leads his life into a downward spiral, but after some talking with his family and finally learning that his life has a purpose, he feels better and he becomes a better person. Next is Chaz Tenenbaum. Chaz is a character that desperately wants his father in his life, but again is resentful for his father not being there for him. He also lost his wife and is having trouble coping. However, he eventually does make up with his father and learns to grow up and not be stuck in the stage of arrested development that him and the other Tenenbaums are in. Next is Ethline Tenenbaum. She's a strong, independent character that is pretty self-reliant and cares deeply about her kids. This is Henry Sherman. He's the fiancé of Ethline Tenenbaum and is more of a father figure to the Tenenbaum children than their own father was to them. He's very kind and is a good character. And finally, our last character we will be talking about today is Eli Cash. Eli Cash is a writer and somebody who struggles with a drug addiction. He's self-sabotaging and is basically a Tenenbaum due to association by being best friends with Richie, but has a huge crush on Margot, a lot like Richie, which we'll get into later with the plot. Overall, his character arc is learning to change, and he eventually starts to grow towards the end of the movie after he gets in a huge car accident. He learns that he needs help, and the Tenenbaums are there to support him all the way through. So, the Royal Tenenbaums is about a dysfunctional family that gets reunited because of their estranged father, Royal Tenenbaum, claiming that he has cancer, when only to find out that he really doesn't, and he's just trying to get money from Ethline Tenenbaum, the mother of the Tenenbaum children, so that a way he can pay his apartment off. However, he does get reunited with his kids and his grandkids, and learns that he should have been there more for them. Because of this, we get a lot of interesting moments with the family, and some pretty dark ones as well. I don't want to give too much away, but it's a really good movie, and I highly suggest watching it. Has a lot of dark undertones, so I'd probably wait till somebody's older to watch it, but it's really good. So before we get into the deep hidden meaning behind the Tenenbaums, I kind of wanted to say something that I personally found, just my experience as a viewer. The Royal Tenenbaums came out in around 2001, right? So in 2001, a lot of heartbreaking things happened, but also a lot of good things happened. The 2000s as an era themselves were kind of strange. We had a lot of 90s influences, but we also had a lot of modern influences as well. And I kind of feel that the Tenenbaum children are a bit like the early 2000s. They're super hyped up and told it's going to be the most perfect time. It's going to be futuristic almost. That's what the 2000s were supposed to be like, right? However, the Tenenbaum children didn't really accomplish a lot when they got older. It was almost like a decline. But also, a lot of great things happened in the 2000s as well. Phones, like real cell phones, were made. The internet, basically as we know it, wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for the early 2000s. A lot of amazing things happened, while a lot of heartbreaking things happened. So, in a way, the early 2000s decade kind of mirrors a similar story to the Royal Tenenbaums. It was kind of this stunted growth period at first, and we were kind of stuck in the 90s, just how the Royal Tenenbaums were stuck in their pasts as children. But then, through thriving and maybe some heartaches, like some very rough times, came out some amazing things and some good accomplishments. Both the Royal Tenenbaums in the early 2000s are intertwined and have a similar story, but it's still different and it's still good. And I feel like that's why The Royal Tenenbaums was a movie that needed to be in the early 2000s, to give people who felt alone and who felt broken some hope about their future. So, what's my take on it? What's the final analysis? I feel the true meaning behind Royal Tenenbaums is that family comes first, and that parental negligence should not be taken lightly, and that we should communicate better with our family members if we want to have strong, long lasting bonds with them. And that's my take on the Royal Tenenbaums. I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you so much for watching. If you like this, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you, and goodbye.